Last November, we dedicated Giving Tuesday to our work in the North. We asked you to support projects that fight the epidemic of suicide among youth in the Arctic, and you responded with incredible compassion and generosity. Our one-day goal was $50,000. You gave $135,000. We were blown away. And our partners who sometimes feel alone in this work were incredibly encouraged. One of them was Steve Carleton of the Bill Prankard Evangelistic Association, who joins me now by Skype. Steve, thanks for joining us.
Are you kidding me? This is such an honor for me to do.
What was that moment like when you saw how people responded to the need that you see on every single trip to the North?
Cheryl, I mean, to say that myself and Bill were blown away is an understatement. We were completely taken aback by the generosity of Canadians, and it only communicated to Bill and myself that our mandate to the Arctic and to the brokenhearted there is even stronger. And so we're moving with more fire in our spirits and with more emphasis on what we're doing.
You know, I think about these kids and how people have told them that they don't matter, that they're not seen, that they're not important. And everyone told me, you know what, I don't know if you should take on this issue. Don't be too optimistic. Canadians, they're not engaged in this issue. I don't think they care. And I think what Canadians have told us through this is that resoundingly they've said that is not true. When you spend time with kids in the North, what do you think this is going to mean to them that, you know, people responded this way and said, no, we have to solve this?
Well, and you know, it makes a big difference in these kids' lives. In every course and every youth conference we've had in Cape Dorset, and you know, in now yet with our building dedication, I make a major point to say that I'm being sent on behalf of hundreds and thousands, if not tens of thousands, of Canadians right across the country, and the point that we make is that, you know, Canadians are very concerned and that they love each and every child in the Arctic dearly. And, you know, the children really appreciate, the young people really appreciate, the families appreciate it. And because of prayers and support, we're seeing differences made that other programs just aren't meeting.
Yeah, and you're actually heading up to Cape Dorset today, so we got you there. It's a community that was traumatized by the suicide of an 11-year-old, and it was really that report that inspired your founder, Bill Prankard, to launch the suicide prevention program, Arctic Hope. What are you going to do while you're up in Cape Dorset?
Yeah, it's good thing you caught me when you did. I'm leaving Ottawa Weathers, where it's, you know, moderate, to the Arctic, where it'll be quite cold. Big part of this trip is we'll obviously hold another youth conference, and believing that even more young people will experience the power and love of God for the first time, and for others to be refreshed as well. But a big part of this is to meet with leaders, both government and municipal leaders in Iqaluit and then also in Cape Dorset. I'm bringing with me a man by the name of Ken Smid, who's the director of a charity called the True North Aid. And just recently, True North Aid has received a pretty large donation of 150,000 ready-made meals, kind of like what they use in the Army. The point of these was to bring them to the Arctic. And the donors said, no, Nunavut is high in our thoughts right now, and there's a lot of families who are going without because of substance abuse and other issues. We want those to go to the Arctic. So this trip is really just to figure out logistically how do we bring these up and who do we distribute them to. Just in my preliminary meetings with or phone calls with Cape Dorset leaders, they say that they've got over 100 families that come to the community soup kitchen once a week, and their major thing is that there's a lot of desperate families going without food, and all kinds of contributing reasons for that. But you know, these 150,000 meals will be eaten up pretty quick, we gather.
Well, we're going to definitely be cheering for you. We're going to check back in with you when you're back for a full update. But now that you're launching today, what can we pray for you and your team and get Canada praying for?
You know, it's really something, because, you know, that type of support with the $135,000 that was raised just the end of 2016, Cheryl, we are able to launch into 2 brand new communities. So our primary focus for the last, you know, couple of years, mainly for figuring out what's the best way to operate in these communities, has been Cape Dorset. But now we're launching into Now Yet, which is where we just had our building dedication, which your partners were extremely generous in helping make that possible. And then we're building is the largest largest building in the community that's not federally or municipally owned. We've bought and paid for it in cash. There's no debt on it. It's a real miracle that we've got this thing. So we're launching Arctic Hope, building leaders and training leaders there in the Arctic Circle. And then Pangatung is the second community that we're launching into. So we're expanding our efforts by threefold. And that's to do with your partners. And they need to understand that major differences are being made. So when it comes to prayers, they need to be praying for these families, these single mothers, these homes where substances are being abused and children are going without. This is Canada, and we need to believe that Canada shall be saved, and then that these types of things won't exist anymore. So. Yeah, I mean, suicide. Suicide is our mandate. We're going after young people who have major issues in their lives, and we're seeing testimonies of this in Cape Dorset right now already, who've encountered the power and love of God. Again, because of partners who pray and who support, it's making an enormous difference.
We have amazing partners, both the people who gave and also you, Steve. We're going to be praying for you for sure. And, please bring the message with you that Canada cares and that they're not forgotten and that their lives, every single one of their lives matters.
No, I absolutely. It's a strong conviction of mine. And, we certainly travel with the weightiness of so many Canadians who love and are so concerned about my people.
Thanks so much, Steve. And we'll check in with you in a few weeks.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. It's so important for us to bring you updates and keep accountable for the money that you've given. We want to let you know the difference that you're making in the North. We're going to keep bringing you updates, so make sure you stay tuned for them. And I hope if you give yourself a pat on the back today, because you are making a huge difference, both in the people doing the work and the people receiving the work.